It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. It's Pat. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to soak my feet because somebody deranged started all sorts of stuff and they want to run over my feet. I ran away. Nobody stopped it. I was in sandals. Blew the whole feet and the knees are navigating, and I got to take care of that. Now, I am not a complainer, but it is serious when you have them say out loud to you, and I need that bus system. There is no way the cab driver drives me. He takes me off to New Albany to knock me off. That is what I'm dealing with. Now, the situation is their statements are, have a nice die. That isn't D-I-E or some shirt. That is D-Y-E. Now, I'm going to, D-I-E, excuse me. I'll give you homonyms or something, if I can remember any English. The situation is, that is how serious that is. And I do agree with your husband on straight satanic stuff and warlock stuff. And he can keep praying for me, and I don't find that funny at all. Now, that gives you the seriousness. Please, I don't want to insult you. Forgive me if I'm never sounding thankful. That is the seriousness with which I am dealing. And I do want to go out there and scope who is jacketing up those pipes. I had all crud, and he said that was clean, and it wasn't. I had to use a shower curtain to get all sorts of garbage out of my tub and try to clean it. One day, they ratchet that. I've got crazy long tan spiders in here. Some oddball thing that the legs were left, and it was big and bulbous. I never heard of that in my life, screeching my head off. I think my father took that away from me, from the dead. It was not on my shoe. Only the legs remained. It disappeared. Now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't see that. Sometimes my eyes, I saw it literally, play tricks on me, and I have to look again due to weakness, etc. And I'm going to tell you that the legs were left. It was not on the bottom of my shoe. Well, Lord help me, and God, I feel the dead is allowed to. I have an avant-garde faith, and I'm telling you, I count on the dead, and I count on God, and I'm very happy to have your faith. Please forgive me if I ever hurt you in any way at all. I don't want to. Then we go to the bank. I think you've got that information. I have psychic abilities, well, I was led almost out of the chair to try to save Pryor out of being fired. You've got the background. He was second to the top, had anxieties, lost to Joe Alcorn. He was there during Newell's time. I do not consider him Newell's. And that has been all messed up on the discussion of that. Then we have Lyman Brainerd, who was on the board. Rodney Binks handled his account. I can say no more on that. I feel at this point in time, you're not involved with that. But you're correct. It's all linked. Pryor went out the door, married somebody or other. I could not speak as well mentally because of the trauma from the past. I saw him go down the elevator. Are you getting married, Peter? He says, yes, smiled. Fred Larson had come to try to tell me that. I could not say what I wanted to say then. I wish you had thought of me before. That is what I wanted to say. Well, whatever the mess was, we married. And then it got all complicated amongst Polino, who said somebody's a lesbian. That got messed up. And I ended up being referred to the loan department, and that was all nonverbal and crazy stuff. Listen to the highs and lows. That's Phil Weber's garbage, and he was very much against me, very much no good to me, very much denigrated, and I have ended up horrible health due to that. Finally got out of there. Excuse me, by acting my way out of there. I did play dumb, ended up somewhere in New Auburn. Said, oh, doesn't remind me of a good place, dungeon, let's try it again. Got out of there. I'd never go to that apartment in New Auburn at all. Went back, we went down the hill again, and we finally settled at 25 grand and some later on a car. And honestly, you get plenty of money. You can spend anything you want. Well, I wasn't that stupid. And that is what was the matter with that bastard. And he's no good. He's supposed to be Joe Alvort's half-brother. So that impacted horrifically. And I was killed on that subject here also. So it's all related. He was supposed to have some counseling background, but at that time, that takes us back to the Bushes, who were in Portland, and all of this was, I've been kicked due to some matter that's major in this community. They're hard workers. I will not stop them on the subject of their hard work or anything like that. But that got messed up with the first husband, who goes to Portland, messed up with Melanie and the whole situation. It's a very complicated mess. So you have the in-between of that, and one has to deduct. Somebody's lying their heads off to the communications industry, and it further goes further, because the Adlers were involved with engineering. My first husband, and a male that was there, went off in their own business. There were about 4 or 5 sons or something, and a wife who didn't like me at all and was loyal to my first husband. We tried to take tennis lessons together, and she didn't want that. Then we had Kay Moore and her fine husband. They were respected. She was respected therapists who said my sons were antagonistic and against me. I agreed with her, and I knew they were, and wanted to speak to me. She had angina, and I was very considerate. I said, this is very tough stuff. Are you up for it physically? She said that she wasn't. It made her feel better. Her husband had a peg leg, very fine gentleman, walked me to the vehicle. They lived on a farm and lived on the first floor of it. I don't know whether they ever had any animals, but it was kind of out in a piece of property in Cumberland. Wonderful people. I would have visited them. There's more to this hellish thing. The Nichols were very fine people. Now, that engineering that's on there on that laptop, somebody hacks it. I told you they do. That's me at MIT now. And I'm telling you, that is not where I'm supposed to be. And that was messed up through the barber jet referring me to Irving Frank. Now, that ended up messed up, and all sorts of females entering an office. A thin one. His wife had cancer. She was more voluptuous. She was no way ugly, full-breasted, said nothing. I think she was a therapist. Some of his children are out of state. That's all I know. One was an attorney. There were grandchildren. They're at least partially grown up. I think he has died, and his wife probably has died. There was a daughter. Hi, this is very difficult for me. Stephen Kotler was very good to me at a point in time, and I still am loyal to him on Natrum Muriaticum. I don't know the whole situation on that, but he never laughed, and nor did Peter Pryor ever laugh, and they were the only two males that ever knew how to touch me with tenderness. That's very important for me. It's hard for me to hear you say that it's very sad news that he passed away, because I think he ruined my counseling degree with that Claire. And it started going bad due to an element of the counseling in the bank, because I was the one interested in it. And he gave that credit to that Claire. She ran me out of Vernon. And then I was run out farther out to Ashmont. And Dr. Anderson, I didn't have the money. I have no problem with UConn, except the comments backwards in time. You never went anywhere, so they wouldn't take to straighten out my name there. It took a long time. There was a problem with females then, but not with those professors. I earned those grades, and I was not fighting with the professors. One professor I feel probably enjoyed males, but he gave me an A in the course. I worked very hard. Now I have to go against an element there who ruined my counseling degree. That is what I wanted. I wanted trust banking. I think somebody tried to recoup in Brandon Hickey. You've got the knowledge on my mind. That was that way backwards in time connected with Deborah Slavin here in Maine. I do agree with you on Deborah Slavin. What I am not for are the psychics here. You have to get me knowledge on Ruth May, Box Mountain Road. She was good to me. I am against the psychics that I have dealt with here. That's what you're fighting. I was thrown out of here. And the warlock is somewhere in this apartment and comes in and out. My chair goes up and down. The scale will not register.